Oh man, has it been a minute. Hello everyone, I am back. We are going to start redoing breaking down skills. I'm going to start asking you guys to send in skills or anything that you're wanting to be broken down, whether it's a certain gymnast on a certain routine or just a certain skill in general. Send them to me and I will break them down if I'm able to find a video for that skill and of course be able to find that routine. But we are back. I've had a tremendously, is that a word, busy spring, so I haven't been able to do my YouTube, but I'm trying to pick it back up here in the summer and to make it as consistent as possible for my viewers. I really appreciate everyone that has subscribed to my channel, so I don't want to let you guys down, but I am extremely busy with just the multiple jobs that I have and being a mom, of course, and getting him involved in sports. So I'm trying to figure out a good schedule where I'm able to do all of the breakdowns that I want and that you guys, most importantly, are wanting. So send that stuff in. Thank you so much for following along, and let's get into this video. Okay, if you have no idea how to do a Maloney, we are going to break down the Maloney on the uneven bars. So first we're going to watch Kristen Maloney, who is what the skill is named after, or the person's skill is named after, Kristen Maloney. So let's go ahead and break into her video. Okay, so this is Kristen Maloney. I think this meet is from 2000. Fun fact, I was 4. Okay, so first we have her kip cast. Wow, straight body cast. Don't see those often anymore. All right, now this is the actual Maloney. The Maloney itself is where you put your toes on the inside of the bar right there between your hands, and you fling yourself in the air, pray a little bit, crap your Leo, and then catch the bar. Just kidding. Hopefully you don't crap your leotard. Whenever I did this skill, there's definitely a lot of praying going on. Let me know if you guys want to see my Maloney. That's over 10 years old, but I do have a video of it. But going into it more seriously, here it is one more time. Beautiful. Now, I was able to find on the Naj website, or I'm sorry, the Naj YouTube channel, there are so many videos that Naj puts up. I love Naj so much, so I want to give credit to those videos that you're about to see. We use those for numerous things, for learning how to judge, what to look for in judging, and they've put together an awesome compilation of Maloney's where it has a great Maloney, a good Maloney, and a basic Maloney, which the basic is a really nice way of saying not the best, but we love it. We love the basic. Okay, so that's what we're going to watch right now. This is the Naj variation of all of the Maloney. So here you'll see, this is what it looks like in the code of points. This video was made about 3 years ago, but this shouldn't be any different. The Maloney is still a D. So this is the excellent version. We're going to go down why it is so excellent. So let's watch it in regular motion. Good kip cast. And gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay. Skill characteristics. This is why the skill was in the excellent. It has great amplitude. The backswing goes up to horizontal. An excellent stretched out body position from the very beginning. I'll go through that in a second. Flexed feet. She had flexed feet? I didn't really see that. Dynamics, excellent, and swingfulness. Okay, so let's break that down one more time. Now, going into the Maloney. First thing going into the Maloney is it's the beginning of a toe on toe off. So if you don't have a strong toe on toe off, the likelihood of you having a strong Maloney or a Ray, which is the toe on to Kochev, is a little unlikely. But anything is possible if you just believe. So you want to make sure you have a strong entry. And you'll notice this arch snapping technique. This is by far my favorite technique for any toe on toe off type of skills. I think it provides optimal power going into the toe on toe off. I did this technique. Countless of gymnasts do this technique, and every gymnast that does this technique will tell you I get way more power learning to do the snap. So here she is. You see where her shoulders are slightly leaned back in the arch. This is to help create that power and to have enough distance where she can fit her toes onto the bar, which you'll see here. So now that she's done that snap, big arch, really, really good. Oops. She pulls those feet. See how she's starting to push her shoulders back and she's pushing her butt back? This is so she has enough room to fit her legs onto the bar and between her hands that you see right here. Now, as she's coming down, you can kind of see the bar, but you really want to be pulling that bar down. Use your bar. The bar is wood. It's pretty bouncy whenever you're using it correctly. If you're tight, if you're pulling down, you have the right technique, whatever, it's going to bounce. So use it to your advantage. And you can kind of see that bar doing it. So she uses the pull down at the bottom of the bar in her toe on toe off to use the bounce of the bar to now shoot her toes out. Notice where her toes come off at. You'll see her tailbone is at that 45-degree angle, and that's when she's going to start pulling her toes off. Now, she's going to pull those toes off hard, because if she doesn't pull them off hard, you've got to think of it like a slingshot. When you pull back that band, the farther you pull back that band, the farther the rock or whatever you're throwing is probably going to go. It's the same concept on the toe on toe off. You want to wind up in the beginning, pull down on your band, and then snap to the high bar. So that's exactly what she does here. She really pulls down, snaps those toes off, and then watch her feet. She takes them up to the ceiling and drives her heels backward to now create that open hip technique. That is, first of all, defying gravity. Second of all, hard. Okay, third of all, a little scary, but you get used to it. Now, as her toes are going up and she's throwing that, she's got to be making sure from her tailbone all the way down to her shoulders are super tight, super open, and very aggressive to literally throw herself off of her hands, back to her hands, up to the high bar. You want to talk about defying gravity? This is a crazy skill to me if you really just break it down. Watch, just look at this. She's on her hands, on her hands. Okay, I'm going to throw myself onward and upward like we're freaking Peter Pan. We're just going to fly off of our hands all the way up to the bar and then catch it. And then also survive to tell the tale. Yeah, and you're telling me gymnasts aren't superheroes? Period. Okay, now off of our hands, look, bro, this should be in a museum. Look at how beautiful her body shape is. She has her, look at her hips. Her hips are so incredibly high above the high bar. This is so good. But again, the key thing is none of this can happen if all of this is very poor. This has to be good. 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 Then that's just going to be the result of all of that being really good. So it really matters what the beginning and the middle are like. I feel like that's common sense, but some people really underestimate that. We're too busy trying to figure out how to multiply, but we really have barely even figured out how to add. It's just not going to go that well, trust me. So you want to make sure that very beginning of the skill is great. Now, as she opens up her shoulders, her eyes are directly to the high bar. Look at the height of her hips. Again, I cannot get over it. So I freaking Shakira, hips don't lie. They're so good. Now she sees the bar, and look what she's got to do to her hands. She's got to literally wrap around the bar. Do you see how over gripped she was? Because if she's not going to over grip on the bar like that, when she swings back, especially with that height and momentum, she's going to peel right off because she's not going to have gotten her dowel over the bar. The dowel is that little skinny metal covered with the leather thing at the end of the fingers on the grips. I'll put a picture up so you guys see. That dowel saves lives. Okay, I'm gonna literally make a shirt that says dowels save lives. Okay, let me know if I should make that a shirt and sell it on my Etsy, because you know what, don't even worry about it, I'm already gonna do it. So, but please comment down below if you would love that. So she gets that dowel all the way around in order for her to be able to hold on to the bar to do that backswing. Now this is what they were talking about. See, that backswing is her hips are right in line with her shoulders, which are right in line with the high bar. If anything, I think they're a little bit higher than the high bar, which is excelente. Okay, I've been learning el español. Okay, I've been learning Spanish, so excelente. Love it. Okay, so now going back to the Maloney itself, let's focus on her lower half. We were just focusing on her upper half. Now, as she's reaching to the bar, she has to keep her hips up, her feet up, and all the while she knows there's a very good possibility she could always clip her heels on the bar, which does not feel good. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I've done that countless times, especially when I was going through my growth spurt. I grew 8 inches in 3 years, and it messed my bars up. So I hit my feet a lot on the low bar, and it hurts. So she has to be making sure her hips are open and everything's tight, but you'll notice as she goes to reach for the high bar, it's going to allow her feet to now miss the low bar in that swing back, and she keeps everything open. She does have a little bit of leg separation right here, as you can see, but very minimal deduction throughout this whole Maloney anyway. So nice and high, sees it, grabs it, very flat. A lot of gymnasts there will pike, which can be a deduction, but she stays open, just has slightly legs apart right here, and then she goes straight into her next skill. Now, let's look at the good one. This one's a little messed up. Hold on. Okay, I think I got it. All right, here we go. Here is the good video. Oh, okay. Good handstand. So do you see the technique difference? She does not do the arch snap down, but instead just brings her toe straight to the bar. That is fine. It doesn't make it wrong. It's just that snap technique really does make it easier. So she puts her feet on. She lets go of that bar at a good time. However, she's not pulling down on the bar and snapping as well as the past girl. Now, she does get good height still, very much so. The only difference is with her, I think there wasn't as much height and there was a little bit more execution error. She had her feet coming off and apart right here. As you can see, it's kind of blurry. I don't know where they got this video, but it looks like they took a video of a video, but her feet are a little separated coming off. She has a little bit of an elbow bend. And do you see the difference on her Maloney? She kind of comes, see, she's not letting go of the bar yet. She kind of lets go a little late. So it causes her to be a little bit lower and a little bit more, I don't want to say, I guess the best word is like choppy. Her Maloney wasn't as smooth as the first girl's versus this one was kind of choppy because she had to work a little bit more because she did let go. It seemed a little bit later than the other girl. Although her toes came off at a correct time, she wasn't letting go as quickly. So it seemed to have a little bit of an effect when it came to her in the air. But open there, she does have a little flexed feet because I think she knows she was a little close to the low bar. Again, could be because she let go a little late. It wasn't as high as she needed it to be. Whatever the case may be. There's a lot of things that can go into why the Maloney's a little off. But she did have to flex her feet ever so slightly. She does have a good backswing. She is horizontal. Just a little bit of form stuff. Now we're going to see why they deemed this as good and not great. Her amplitude was good. Like I said, it was a little bit lower. Her backswing was horizontal, like I said. A little bit of leg separation in the release and a little bit of leg bend before the toe on toe off and clearing the low bar and a little bit of flex feet. Now let's go into the basic Maloney. So right here, she does the pike down version as well. She does not do the arch. Now, right here, I already know we're going to probably have a little bit of issue because you can see right here, she starts to pick her head up. In gymnastics, the majority of the time when you start lifting your head up on skills, it's going to affect it in a negative way. Now, there are some skills, of course, there's exceptions to every rule, but there are some skills where, of course, your head does have to be out. For example, a front aerial or a front layout on floor, things like that. Your head has to naturally come out or you won't make it because you're going forward. However, the majority of the time, you want to keep your head neutral in gymnastics. So let's compare the great Maloney on the entry. Notice how her head comes down a little bit. But with this girl, her head is lifting a little bit up right here. See how she starts lifting it a little bit higher. It's very minimal. It's not majorly different, but in gymnastics, a quarter of an inch makes a huge difference. Ask any gymnast that's ever done beam. A quarter of an inch is either you falling, sticking, wobbling. It could be everything. So right here, she does lift her head up just ever so slightly into the toe on toe off. Of course, there's going to be a natural head out going into that toe on because of the arch technique like you saw in the first girl. But for this girl, she didn't do that. So you can just see how she does the pike on and she lifts her head up. So that could be why we see some amplitude issues coming out. Now, as she's pulling down on that bar, she doesn't pull down as much as everyone else. Maybe this is why her chapeau ends up being just a little bit low. And right here, you can see she throws her armpits. This is something, too, that the second girl did. Notice where her armpits are. They're facing pretty much the other wall instead of facing the high bar or a little bit of the ceiling. So this takes her directly back more so than she'd want to be, versus going up and backwards like you saw on the first girl. Let's go to the first girls again and see where her armpits are as she lets go. See where her armpits are? They're above the high bar. They're going at that 45-degree type of angle versus the girl under the basic label. When she goes, look where her armpits are going. They're kind of going under the bar. Do you see that? Again, very minimal, but minimal things really matter in technique with gymnastics. So now as she's going, we have a little bit of leg form as she comes. Now the major thing, obviously besides the height, a little bit of amplitude stuff. You can see as she's in the air, her hips start to drop before she catches the bar. And then this causes her to do that big pike that I talked about. So that will be a deduction coming out of here. But the major thing is going to be the amplitude, but this also body position right here, that big pike. So then what does she have to do? She kind of separates her legs quite a bit. The backswing is not horizontal with the high bar. So there's going to be that amplitude. And then as she's swinging, she flexes her feet, bends her knees to go back into the kip. Now, this is a Maloney that probably nothing is happening out of, because the minute she catches in this pike position, just imagine all of your momentum and power in that pike is now going straight down to the ground. It's gone. You're not going to have any momentum or power out of that Maloney to do anything with it. So that is where this technique in the beginning, throwing a little earlier, having a little bit higher hips, staying flat here and driving the heels back to create that horizontal, if not higher swing, allows you to do anything out of it. Overall, I think all three of these girls did a good job. It seems the girl under the basic one, she probably just learned this. It's probably fairly new for her. Nonetheless, it's a difficult skill, and I commend her for doing it anyway and being able to make it. But overall, these Maloneys are pretty good. Obviously, the excellent Maloney was excellent, and I'm a huge fan of that because the technique was absolutely beautiful. But this is the breakdown of the Maloney from my end of it, just as the gymnast, the coach, and the judge. Hopefully you guys found that helpful, interesting. Let me know if there's any other skills, routines that you'd like me to break down. Comment them, send me a message, whatever you do, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.